many businesses think that their KPI is money, right? But it's not. It's the thing that triggers the money, right? So for us,
Correct.
in that funnel, it's right in the middle. It's the demo, right? I need to get you to the demo. And once I do, I know you're going to go, oh my God, right? And then convert you. But I have to get you there first, and I need to get you there ready. So a warm lead, right? Meaning you're already primed to have that aha moment.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of Engati CX. I'm your host Chandani, and we're really glad to have all of you join us today. On this show, we talk to CX and tech experts from around the world. We explore, uncover, and share fresh insights on creating experiences that your customers will remember and look forward to. Engati is the world's leading multilingual, no-code digital CX platform available across 14 channels with 45,000 solutions created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc. magazine, Tech World, CIO magazine, and many others. We run the Engati blog, video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 400,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest, Kate Bradley Chernis is the founder and CEO of Lately, which uses AI to automatically transform long form content like blogs, podcasts, and videos into dozens of smart social posts it learns will yield the highest engagement from your audience. Kate served 20 million listeners as music director and on-air host at Sirius XM. She's also an award-winning radio producer, engineer, and voice talent with 25 years of national broadcast communications, brand building, sales, and marketing expertise. Welcome to the show, Kate. We're really glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Shanandi. Great to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. But before we dive into our interview with Kate, don't forget to subscribe to Engati and tap on the bell icon below to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders around the globe. So, diving right into the interview, Kate, how does AI help with content marketing?
For us, we use AI to really start at the beginning, right? So a lot of companies who use AI now are focused on automation. So for example, if it's automation and content, dear Shanandi, right? Dear name. That's what they think of as like automation and personalization, or automating analytics or predictive analytics. But almost no one is focused on the content itself, right? Because it doesn't really matter how great your marketing management tools are or your analytics software if what you're putting in is garbage, right? So lately actually really focuses on helping you discover the keywords and phrases that will ring true for your audience, in social media posts specifically, so that you're likely to get the highest engagement based on what it knows your audience wants to read or hear or watch.
So, it basically understands your audience behavior and then creates content for you directly.
Yeah, exactly. And it's looking to really, it's just the words are the most important thing, Shanandi, right? So really literally the DNA of what makes up your messaging. And the reason it does this is because people respond to different things, right? So if you're always putting out the same message all the time, you're actually alienating a lot of people. So by having dozens or even hundreds of messages all driving traffic toward the same place, but the messages themselves are different, that's how you get that 240% engagement increase, which is what most of our customers see.
That's that's really great. So, apart from just lately, are there any other ways that AI can help in content marketing?
I've seen AI work in mathematical equations. So, for example, it'll take the numbers and then translate it to that sentence, into an English sentence, for example. Or Grammarly is a great example of AI in the content creation. We've heard of there was that commercial. I think it was who was it, Lexus, from a couple years ago, where the AI studied thousands of commercials from like the last 30 years, and it did something similar to what Lately does. Is it was pulled together the best ideas and then humans actually, not the AI. So this is a misunderstanding. Humans put together a commercial based on what the AI told them to do, right? And that's the missing piece, by the way, which is what we really focus on is AI on its own, as far as content creation, isn't great. But when you put the human in the mix to help it learn, that's when you get that magical piece, right? So it's the two things together um, that give you the, oh my gosh, right?
Correct. Absolutely. So, in your opinion, how can we use technology to improve marketing and customer experience?
So with technology, it's the same idea, right? You marketing is and customer experience is very much more art than science, as they say, right? So let's let technology do the science part, the annoying things, the repetition things that you don't want to do, humans don't want to do, and then make sure that humans are involved doing the things that only they can do, right? So in the case of, CX, like really putting that connection on it, right? So for example, in this moment, you and I are here and we're smiling. I asked you how to pronounce your name because I wanted to make sure I got that right. I'm loving
Right.
like, we're already, I feel like I already know you in these few seconds here. And automation or robots can't replicate that, right? So this is our job as humans to put these two pieces together, and make sure that technology's place is really just around the um, that irritating work that makes you want to stab your eyeballs out.
Absolutely. So, any examples you have in mind that where technology has helped improve marketing or customer experience?
Well, certainly, I mean, lately, right? So for us, um, we see a 98% conversion rate in our sales because we only use lately to market lately. And so just so everybody's clear how that works, and I don't mean to make it a commercial here, but you can do this by hand. I've done it by hand. So, I mean, but what we do is if you uploaded this podcast, for example, into Lately, it instantly looks at all the text. It transcribes everything you and I say, and then it's studying that text based on what it already has learned from your social media analytics, and it builds a writing model trying to get you the highest engagement of the by finding the words it already has seen your customers interact with, click, share, like, reshare, that kind of thing, right? And then it pulls out the quotes of you and me in this interview, and then in this case we'll pull out the video clips of us saying the quotes and give you dozens or even hundreds of social posts, so then you can drip feed them out over time, right? And so the reason we get that 98% sales conversion is because the AI is delivering us warm leads, right? It's so good at finding out whatever you like or click or share makes you warm to me, right? And then we're able to qualify you and move you forward. But so that's an easy way, right?
Absolutely. So, any other strategies how companies can improve their social media and social media marketing?
Sure. So again, what we do to get that 98% sales conversion, after we publish whatever the lately brain tells us is great, right? Well, first of all, it spits out all the social posts, and then a human goes through and just optimizes the words, make sure that the hashtags are contextual. Sometimes the AI will start the sentence with, "So I said da 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 da," and like that's weird. You have to kind of do some editing, and the AI will learn everything you edit or delete or publish. It's keeping a track of that to get better and better for you. Once we do that and then publish it on our brand channels, we also publish those posts on our employee channels so that the whole team is working together out in the world to drive traffic and drive leads, right? We also then look, like I was saying, for people who are liking and commenting and sharing our content. So I have a social media manager who does that. And she, as a human, starts to push those conversations forward, right? Because only humans can do that. So she can see that you like something, she comments on that, continues the conversation with you. Then we push you into a direct message, a DM, and then we get you into the demo. So for us, our demo is the KPI. We know this. And so we form everything around that. And I think that's an important thing, Shanandi, is many businesses think that their KPI is money, right? But it's not. It's the thing that triggers the money, right? So for us,
Correct.
in that funnel, it's right in the middle. It's the demo, right? I need to get you to the demo. And once I do, I know you're going to go, oh my God, right? And then convert you. But I have to get you there first, and I need to get you there ready. So a warm lead, right? Meaning you're already primed to have that aha moment.
Absolutely. So, amongst the different types of content like videos, podcasts, blogs, etc., what do you think is the most effective and which one has a better return on investment?
So it's a good question. I want to say text because, and here's why. I know that sounds like a little bit old school right now, but podcasts and videos, they all boil down to text eventually, right? And in order to promote a podcast or a video, you have to have some text involved, right? So I'm gonna say text for that reason, because if you can make sure that your blog, for example, are um, are optimal, then your learnings will translate everywhere else. So that's where I would start. Now, it's not to say that blogs are the end all be all these days. In fact, I would say that there's so many that are poorly written. They're done just for SEO purposes. No one's actually trying to
Correct.
provide you any information, right, whatsoever, which is irritating, of course. But the skills, the writing skills alone, they translate everywhere. They translate to text, to Slack, how you talk to your employees, to how you talk to your customers in community forums, for example, right, or on over Zendesk, wherever it is. So that's the most important place, I believe, to focus everyone's attention in the company. If you can all write, wow, right, then your communication skills jump so high, Shanandi, right? So I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you previously, but companies waste $400 billion in the US alone each year on poor writing, because of poor writing. So that means not only are the sales and marketing messages terrible and customers don't understand what's being said, but then also, again, internally, how you communicate with each other is wasting time.
Absolutely. And that's like a really, really, really big number that you've put out.
Yeah.
But don't you think videos and podcasts are more interactive and they would work better in terms of serving audiences?
Yeah, so I love videos and podcasts, of course. I mean, it's what I do for my own marketing. And there's two challenges. You have to have a good host like you, right? So you have to have somebody who is not asking me yes and no questions, right? There's some skill in being the host, and you have to be able to take your listeners or watch or viewers on the journey with you and make them feel included in the conversation, which is what I learned to do in radio, right? So, and that's a hard thing to do, is because you're talking to an empty space of no one and everyone at the same time, right? With this pressure to be
Absolutely.
not only informative, right, but also entertaining. So there's a lot of pressure on that. I personally, Shanandi, love podcasts because I love radio. I love the theater of the mind. There's an onus on the listener to do some work, right? You're
Correct.
not just spoon feeding them the whole thing. They have to have some imagination to participate in the conversation.
Correct.
Yeah. So um, I obviously I see TikTok and Instagram, and those are very visual medias. Um, and I think it's funny. I was thinking about our own feed recently. Like, we have a lot of video in our feeds right now, and I was thinking we should try to put more text in there just to stand out again, right?
Oh, makes sense. So, what are your thoughts on emerging language generators like GPT-3 and their ability to create prose and other forms of long form content?
Yeah, we actually integrate with GPT-3 and Google Pegasus. We have a next generation of our AI that we worked on with Anheuser-Busch InBev, and it's so cool. So so what it does is something similar. So the beginning part is like I said before, you ingest long form content into lately. It applies the writing model, pulls out the short form pieces that it knows it'll get you the highest engagement. And the next generation with GPT-3 does the same thing, but instead of pulling out quotes, it actually rewrites each phrase in your voice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Right. So that's the magic that they bring to the table, because we found that our customers, even this human part I'm telling you, is so important, right? They don't want to do it. So we have to help them get along, get further down the path, even more.
Absolutely. So, before winding up with the interview, Kate, are there any other thoughts that you would like to leave our audience with?
I think the most important thing, as we were sort of touching on, is that connection piece, right? So one of the things I learned in radio, Shanandi, is when your brain listens to music, right? Each new song it hears, it instantly must access every older song you've ever heard before in order to find the familiar touch points and then index that new song in your brain's memory. And so when you listen to music, nostalgia happens in a second. All this emotion, right, and memory comes forward. Now, when you are speaking, your voice is like a note. It has a frequency also, right? When you read text, you hear the voice of whoever wrote it. So when I'm writing text for anything, sales, marketing, CX, whatever, I'm thinking to myself, how do I give you those familiar touch points to make that
Correct.
nostalgia, right? Same idea. Yep.
Yeah,
So this is why writing is actually so important, right? It's the baseline for everything we do in our work.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Kate, for giving us your time. Your insights was really valuable, and I know our audience is going to enjoy this interview.
Thank you so much, Anandi.
So we'll be back with a new episode and a whole new expert zone. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around for the next one. Thank you.